go on. Let's go out to Jupiter, Colorado. Is that Jupiter, Florida? Let's go talk to Bill, and then we'll figure out where Bill's from. Bill, thanks for calling. Thanks for holding.
Hi, Steve. Yeah, Jupiter, Florida, of course, your neighbor.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I wanted to talk to you about a trade I did earlier and get your thoughts and really learn from this experience. So if you look at crude, CL.
Okay, crude oil. Okay.
Yep. I have my 10-minute chart up. And what I've been doing, along with the TAS indicators, which you highly recommended, and they've been incredibly helpful to me. I've been tracking, doing a rolling 9-day average of, high to low in oil, what the range is in oil. So taking the 9-day range and then looking at price action today, oil was at, retested its high at that 54.90 level a couple of times. And then if you look at on the 10-minute chart, if you look at a TAS box, you'll see kind of classic where the top of the box and the POC are fairly close together. And I said, this is it. And then all the other indicators, it was completely overbought. So I sold it at 54.79, and I think I'll get out of here around 54.50. I think that was a pretty good trade, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on that and what I might have done differently or what I would have added to that to be looking at.
Boy, what you would have done differently on a 10-minute chart, which is the time frame, folks, that is up on my screen. I can't see anything that you would have done differently. And so on this 10-minute time frame chart, folks, if we just come back to about 3:20 in the morning out here, one of the things you want to notice is where these profiles are forming. And for the most part, each new profile is forming above a prior profile, just simply telling you what you already know, which is you had a trend to the upside. You had a little bit of a hiccup in there, and that was at about 10 o'clock this morning when on a 10-minute base there was a new profile that formed. But the top of that profile was above the prior top and the bottom below the prior bottom. That kind of neutral-ish, if you will, but price never closed there below the bottom of a profile. Now what we're seeing is that the current bottom of that 10-minute box at 54.50 is where, in essence, the old center line of the box is. And so, it should be pretty strong support out here of 54.50. So from a 10-minute trading standpoint, if you were to see a 10-minute bar close below 54.50, well, then that would suggest that you've got to move lower. Now, our eyes would just simply immediately go back to a prior swing point area. And so I would be looking at the price point at about 10:20 this morning down at 53.76. But are you using anything other than a 10-minute time frame to make this? So first, I can't. It was a bearish structured box. You're absolutely right. The bears or the sellers, in essence, should have had because price holding in that area, the ability to push price down to the bottom. Hasn't tested it exactly, but very close to it. So inside this box, buyers and sellers are doing what they're supposed to do. We just don't know whether sellers have enough ammunition to roll over the buyers that are at 54.50 out there. But I don't see anything different that I can see. So my question was, is there anything else that you use?
The 30-minute and the hourly chart. And on all charts when I took the trade earlier, everything was overbought. And then you had this negative box on the 10-minute chart, which is where I try to do my entries off of a 10-minute chart on the intraday trading. And I think there was a decent call. It's probably time to get out. But anyway, I get in really close to the high, and I'm never trying to catch the exact high or the exact low. But like you, and some of the things that I need to do with you as we go forward is to really learn to pick those intraday highs and lows, because they're great areas to trade off of, and they're much more, in my mind, and I'd like your comment on this, much more predictable and a much safer area to enter a trade from, either long or short, depending upon, whether you're selling the high or buying the low.
Well, the important thing is to, when you're trading, from my perspective, the important thing is to stay within inside the time frame that you're trading. So if you're trading on a 10-minute basis and that's been working for you and you've been producing good results and you stick with it. Hey, we have a saying around here, an expression that taking money is always a good thing. So that's you did the right thing. We cannot when we start complaining about making money, man, then we got to get out of this business, so to speak. So finding the top ticker, the bottom ticker, or what have you, that's just wonderful if it happens, but not really a big deal. By the way, on the 30 and the 60-minute time frame, which I have up on my screen, I don't see any sell signal per se, but that's just in looking at profiles. There may be other patterns out there. There might be Rhodes momentum indicator top on those. I don't have that time frame set up yet on my charts here to be able to let you know. But just using profiles out here, I don't see anything. As far as other support on any pullback, let's say that the 10-minute profile were to fail from a support standpoint, and you're looking for an ultimate target to the downside, or perhaps ultimate support, what I would be using is that oscillator and change line on the daily chart. Now, it just so happens that today at 51.71, it's lining up with a level of resistance that had failed. That was the Tommy DeMark setup 9 count. That's this little green dashed line. That was the high from December 17th. That high was 51.87. So 51.87, 51.71, right around there on anything that would pull back. And I'm not seeing anything that says on a daily time frame that light sweet crude is going to pull back here. But if it were, you would look for support in that area. The daily time frame, actually, Bill, says that this changed again to bullish today, as long as price closes over 53.74, the top of that profile. So I would say keep looking for some long trades here at this stage. All righty?
Yeah, very good. And can I share one more thing? So
we're going to a break. You just got to hold on. Hang on through the break. Hang on through the break. Okay? We'll be right back. Bill, do we still have you?
Yes, I'm here, Steve.
Okay, so go ahead with your other question.
Well, I was just making a comment, and I'd like to hear your thoughts. So, as I say, I use the 30 and the 60-minute for guidance and trying to pick kind of a general direction, and then entering on the 10-minute chart. But if you look at the 30 or you look at the 60, navigator and ratio on the TAS indicators are all maximum oversold. Overbought. So right. That was an indication to me. And then there's also the magenta bars on navigator on the 30-minute chart indicating a change in direction, which, although the 30-minute chart isn't showing any sell signal, the green candles are, it's off the high for sure. It's off.
Sure. Absolutely.
It's off
Absolutely.
20, 25 ticks off the high.
Yeah, everything that you say, I absolutely agree with, and I don't see anything different than you are looking at. So to me, you've got this totally under control in using the profiles and using them to your advantage. So kudos to you, and just continue to stick with it. Don't cloud your mind with other things out there when this is working for you.
No, very good, Steve. I appreciate it. The only other thing I want to do is get my time frames in a longer, do the longer time frame perspectives like you do. We had talked about it before. You started
Sure.
When you started your early trading days. For some reason, everybody focuses on the short-term time frame. Maybe it's just a little bit easier to do. I certainly am kind of getting it down, but I want to expand and get into the longer-term time frames as you do. So.
Yeah, short-term time frames are cool because if you're a pattern recognition individual, you can test your pattern recognition skills out on shorter time frames. It's just you need to stay inside that time frame for your trading targets, exits, things of that sort out there. So, hey, Bill, thanks so much for calling, and we'll look forward to speaking to you again soon. That was Bill in wonderful Jupiter, Florida.